Welcome to the Hochanda Podcast. This is your chance to listen in for a sneak peek behind the scenes at the UK's leading crafts, hobbies and arts channel. I'm Simon Green, and this week we're talking to Janice Phillips and Joe Channon. Janice, let's start with you. You've been in television in one shape or the other for many, many years. What brought you to Hochanda?
Well, I have been in the business for many, many years under different guises. I started off actually BBC Radio. So I've always liked the arts in media form, but I've also had a creative streak within me for a long time, albeit not an outward crafter. I still feel that I'm very creative. I like to draw. I like to put together music and digital craft. So that element of creativity is within. So I was a guest on a shopping channel and I wanted to become a presenter because that brought with it new challenges. And it was something that I'd always wanted to do. So the natural progression for me was to look at the craft channels. And I knew of Hochanda and had a lot of friends that worked here who spoke very highly of the channel and the people that worked here. So it all appealed to me. And I came to that crossroads and decided to take this path. And that's how I ended up at the doors of Hochanda.
Joe, is your path similar?
Oh no, not at all. I worked in the NHS in the mental health unit for about 15 years. Had 2 children who are now very grown up and left home. And I just happened to bumble into it, to be quite frank. I had actually had quite a nasty operation, and I had to rest and sit around, and that really wasn't what I like to do. So my mum actually, she said, this is just not going to work. You're not doing as you're told. I'm going to have to find you something to do with your hands. So she came round with a cross stitch. Now, cross-stitching is really quite popular for starting off in paper crafting, actually, because it seems to be quite something that people can start off with and then perhaps develop into other things. So I sat and did this cross-stitch, and within days it was finished. And I thought, yes, actually, I quite like this. I was always a sewer anyway. I did dressmaking at school and with my mum. And it was actually really interesting. Carried on. Made a few cross-stitch cards, and then it really went from there. And then I just happened to be in the right place at the right time when somebody saw that I was demonstrating in a local department store, and she asked me if I would be interested in doing some professional demonstrating. I thought, why not? I was offered a screen test at a TV channel. I was there for almost 13 years as a freelance demonstrator. And I have been here with Hochanda just over 2 years and absolutely love it.
What is it about Hochanda which you both love so much?
I love Hochanda because of the working environment. You come into work, you know everybody instantly from the person on reception, people in the corridor that you see, you say good morning to, they say good morning back, they know who you are, you know who they are. We socialise together as well. The management team here really value you, and also every year we have a big Hochanda garden party where everybody is invited, guests, partners, family, people that work here, and that to me is a great environment, and I think we support each other as well. And on top of that, we have the most talented guests who are so lovely to work with. They're very genuine and incredibly talented, and also they allow us to have a little go at what they do. They're not precious, they don't like to keep it all for themselves. And so every day for me, I come in, and even though I've known Joe for probably about 12 years, I still learn from Joe every time I do a show with her, even though we might be using similar products. Every time I come away from the show, we'll walk down the corridor and I'll be saying, oh my goodness, that was fabulous. So for me, I'm learning every day, but also it's the supportive network that's here at Hochanda that I love.
You're listening to the Hochanda Podcast with Janice, Phillips and Channon. The two of you were talking about how you've known each other a very long time and how important is that in the relationship when you're on air together?
We've just come off air. We've just finished a show.
We have. Yeah.
And I love working with you, Jo, because yes, I have known you for a long time, but you surprise me every show I do. And I mean that in a really good way when I say surprise me, because I know how talented you are.
Well, it's very kind. It is. It truly is. This is why I adore working here. And when I say adore, I mean that with every single bit of the word. Because, like for instance, the show that we did this morning, we just had a laugh. We did the job that we went in to do. We performed it well. We did everything that was asked of us from the buying team and the management team. But we had a laugh with it. I could show you various techniques and just to have a play really, and I think that is what it's all about here. Just doing your job, doing it to the best of your ability, but also thoroughly enjoying it as well.
But you know so much about everything, Jo. We have guests here that specialise in soft crafts. We have guests that specialise in the groovy technique, for example, parchment. But you know everything about everything.
I'm a bit of a sponge. That's the problem. And I think it is a problem because I've not got enough time in the day to actually absorb everything that I want to absorb. I do find that the whole concept of craft as a whole, whether it be paper craft, whether it be soft craft, whether it be parchment or the mixed media, is just so interesting. And I love when you say every day is a school day, and I have used that phrase several times since you've actually said it to me, because it's true.
Yes.
Every day is a school day, we do learn. But the thing is, you're saying that you learn from us. When we're in the green room, for instance, it's such a great place to be in. The green room being obviously the place where the presenters all sit and wait while we're having our shows, we're having a chat. We've just had lunch all together in the staff area where we have our lunch. And it's just been so much fun. The crew's in there, a couple of the presenters, Catherine was in there having her lunch. And it was just so great. We were all chatting about what we've been doing at the weekend and what we're going to be doing in the week and how many alarm clocks that one of the tech guys has on in a morning. I mean, where else do we chat about these sort of things?
Oh, that is true.
It's so great.
I've got three alarms to get me up in the morning.
Taz's got 6.
Oh, wow.
6.
Yeah.
6
okay.
alarm clocks.
Fair enough.
But it's just so... And when we say family, it genuinely is a family because people actually care.
Yes.
Not just about what you're doing, about the product, but about you. And that, to me, is just everything, really.
Yeah, it is. And what's nice, we can portray this picture of being a family, which we are. Yes, sometimes, like families, we'll have a bit of a niggle at each other. But we feel comfortable to do that. And that's really important. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It is. We are definitely, without question, a big family unit from right at the top, management. Do you know what I absolutely love about this place is that Paul, who is our obviously senior manager and runs the shop, he can be wandering down the corridor in just any old day, and he'll stop and he'll have a chat with you, and he will know what you have been doing that day. And I'm just a little cog in a very, very big wheel, but that sort of thing I really appreciate.
Yeah, you might call yourself a small cog though, but it's you that makes it all turn. It's the small cogs that make the large cogs turn.
We're all together though, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
It is very much of the tech guys, you mentioned the reception, the ladies that make sure everything's lovely and clean and everything like that. I just think it's a great place to work, and I do lots and lots of hours here, and I can honestly say I come into the building buzzing and I go out of the building buzzing.
You must take a lot of your home time prepping for the shows.
Oh yes, we do. For instance, one show in particular, if it's a new show, it's the new products, I can spend 2 to 3 days prepping.
Really?
For 2 hours of shows, yeah.
Now, some people would say, well, that's a lot of work to do. Do you get nervous before you go on air? You must feel relaxed because crafting is a relaxing pastime.
Oh, it is. It is. And I the problem I have is that I don't have enough time. Even if I have a whole week, I always think, well, I could have done this, or I could have done this, or what if I'd have done this? And it's because the products that I actually use, I'm so privileged in all the companies that I actually work for with being a freelance demonstrator. It's fabulous. And I can honestly say that the buyers do such a good job in asking these companies to come on board at Hochanda, and then they bring in the fabulous products. And just to use them and have a go, I find time just runs away with us.
Do you also find, we're living in an age of social media, you're constantly contactable through the medium of social media. So do you get lots of questions from crafters after the shows? I know I do.
I do, yes.
Do you?
I do. In fact, and I can actually quote this, at 10:10 last night, because I looked at the clock and thought, I really ought to be starting to pack my bag to get upstairs because we've got an early start. And this lovely, lovely lady called Sheila, she said, I've just seen that you're doing the Daily Art Show tomorrow. She said, I love mixed media. I'm just starting and getting into it. What can you recommend that I buy tomorrow?
Really?
And yeah.
So that's lovely, isn't it?
No, it is. It's really, really lovely. And I've just had a little quick chat with her, and hopefully that she's enjoyed the show today and picked up a few hints and tips.
Well, I have said that you're good at everything. But is there something that you've not done yet within the crafting field that you want to have a go at, or you think you could be better at, that you've had a go already?
Oh, now that's a good question. Everything I do, I could be better at, because I don't think anybody's ever at the top of the shop. And when people say that they are, I really don't think that that's true, because we always learn lots and lots of things, like you say, every day. There are areas that certainly in the mixed media field, there are so many different techniques that I still would like to do. Oh my goodness me, now fabric, not so much the soft craft as in actually sewing, because I do enjoy sewing and I am reasonably good at it, although I don't demonstrate it on TV. I think maybe fabric, I use maybe Nick is very, very apt at lots of fabric transferring and things like that, and we've been chatting about that today. And I've been looking at some of the products that he's been doing. I think that really would appeal.
So that could be one for the future.
Definitely one for the future.
How exciting.
Yeah.
You see, even after 12 years of demonstrating, you're getting excited about something new. I love that.
Honestly, always excited about all sorts of things.
So the both of you have been in this game a long time. Do you get enough interaction with all those thousands of crafters out there? What else do you get from them?
I know personally I get an enormous amount because, first of all, feedback. I think feedback is the most important thing when we're doing this job. We can stand in the studio and we can do what we do, and we think that we're getting over to the customer what we want them to see. But how do we know that? We don't know that unless they actually come back to us and say, I really enjoyed that, I really learnt something, I found that really interesting, I've developed that skill now. Oh, you pointed me in that direction, which I actually didn't think that I would go into. And that is the most important thing, because we actually then feel that we are doing our job correctly.
Yeah, that is important. Yeah, it's lovely to hear from customers and people that view Hochanda to let us know how they feel when they're watching the channel, how it uplifts them, how they're perhaps having a dark day, they've woken up, they're feeling a bit down, and they watch Hochanda, they turn it on, and they feel inspired, they feel that they have company, they have enjoyment, we have a bit of a giggle.
We do.
Always in the best possible taste. But it's the feedback that we get, and I get lots of messages on my Facebook site, on my personal one, and on the Hochanda Facebook site. And it's really nice to see that. And when we meet the customers at the shows that we do,
I love that.
and they come up and say hello, and we
Yeah.
spend time with them,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
so satisfying.
It
It
is.
really is. So yeah, keep your feedback coming in. We love to
yeah.
hear from you.
Definitely.
During the show, we would love to hear from you.
we do.
I'd love to have more phone calls in
Yeah.
the show,
Yeah.
because it's nice to hear your voice, and it's nice to get those questions in. But it's just great. The interaction that we
Yeah.
get during the shows, after the shows, it's all gratefully received. Keep talking about Hochanda with your friends, with your family, but also keep chatting with us about it as well on the social forums. I think it's brilliant.
Agree. I love it. When I've done a show, I'll have a look at my Facebook page and I've got some fabulous comments. And also questions, like we say, how can you just reiterate how you did that? When would you do, when are you going to be doing that again? What are you doing next? And it's just great that they actually get involved, and that is important.
Asking questions in the show is very important.
Very important.
It's my job to ask questions, and sometimes I'm thinking I'm asking too many.
Never too many questions.
But it's great to hear from people out there who are watching and get their questions. If I'm not asking the right things, let us know.
I do feel that there's lots and lots of crafters out there that really enjoy knowing lots of little bits about what we do, what we do in our personal life as well. And I do feel that at Hochanda, we are in a position to share, and it's great. For instance, when I'm doing a demonstration, when it's a live show, and it's we're maybe watching paint dry, literally by heating with a heat gun, watching something drying, and we're chatting away to this presenter, and we're just chatting about our home life, possibly what we've been doing at the weekend, and possibly about the family. For instance, our two children, who are not children anymore, they're young adults, as they keep telling me, 26, 28, and what they've been doing, where they've been heading, and it's just so nice to share that information. And we actually really enjoy doing that, because we know that people love to hear that sort of thing about us, because yes, we may be on your TV screens, but we're human. We're actually just crafters. This is our job. We're in a very lucky position.
I like sharing things that I do outside Hochanda, because for one, it's nice to get all those comments. Like when I'm down my allotment, for example.
Allotment. Oh, that's fab. I love seeing about that.
Oh, it's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's great to hear everyone's interaction. And I don't mind sharing any of that. I really don't, because we're on their screens for most of the times throughout the day.
Yeah.
So it seems only fair to continue that interaction afterwards. And it's great when they've got tips for me about about the garden, about my allotment. So that's just spreading my knowledge to them and their knowledge back to me, which is brilliant. And although I don't craft in the physical sense as much, my craft is photography.
Your
which
photography is amazing.
And I
love it.
I love sharing that. I'll go on a walk and I'll share it on my Hochanda page, because I guess in a way I miss people when I'm not at work. I can't help it. So I put the pictures on there, and it's nice for them to interact back to me, which, again, is a lovely way of keeping in touch.
Yeah.
It really is. And people ask to be my friend, I'll just say yes, because I don't have preferences. It's just not part of me.
No.
So it's nice just to keep that tone running from work all the way through my personal side. Of course, there'll be certain elements that I don't share, but I don't think there's a lot I don't share.
It's fun. It's great to see what. I love to see your allotment, and your photography is just amazing.
Oh, thanks, Jo.
It really, really is. I'm always saying to Mark, wow, this ought to be in a frame. It really is.
Have any of the demonstrators ever incorporated your photography into crafting?
A couple did once with a card, but do you know something? I have been looking at some of the pictures.
Yeah.
And in particular, I like taking pictures of textures. Like I saw this fabulous door with all the paint coming off. Thought of Jo instantly. It was all crackled.
The crackle and
so I stopped and I thought,
layers
right, close up of that, took a picture, and I thought, that'd make a great background.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got me thinking. And someone else suggested with one of the photos that I took of some pampas grass, And one of the viewers said that would make a great stencil, and that's kind of got me thinking. So I don't know, watch this space, you never know. It's encouraging.
I think
it's encouraging when people encourage
yes,
me.
yeah,
Because you never know what might come from it.
you never know.
So that's something for the future maybe.
So you've been listening to the Hochanda Podcast. Very, very huge thanks to Janice and Joe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.